And the song says, all glory and honor to the King of Kings and, of course, to the Lord of Lords. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is NRP Radio on a morning like this. We want to say thanks to you for staying with us right here on this platform as we continue to come to you live 24 hours per day, 365 days per year. It is the Christmas season in which we are, and we look forward to sharing with you momentarily. We are up on the news now, so we're going to be taking the news coming your way right here on this platform. It is now 6:30. Good morning and welcome to our newscast right here on NRP Media and NRP Radio. We broadcast 365 days per year on our radio platform, nrpmediaja.com, and on YouTube and Facebook at NRP Media JA. Welcome to our newscast, and we do look forward to you continuing to stay with us and also to subscribe to our NRP Media JA that is on our YouTube channel. Want to let you know that the newscast this morning comes to you courtesy of J-Win Pharmacy. They are located over there in Spaldings in Clarendon.
J-Win Pharmacy Limited, Samford Plaza in Spalding, Clarendon, the leading pharmacy in the area that specializes in pharmaceuticals, general over-the-counter items and cosmetics. They stock various self-care items and household items. Contact them at 876-956-0930 or 876-371-6781. Here to provide just what you need.
Good morning. Now for the details of our news package. Junior doctors have resumed normal activities following their full-day protest yesterday to push governments to pay outstanding monies owed. NRP News understands that the junior doctors returned to work commencing at 6 p.m. yesterday. The leadership of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association said that the decision was taken in the best interest of patient care. GMDA President Dr. Renee Bedro says a meeting is planned for today, at which time her association will meet with officials from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and the Ministry of Health to address the concerns raised by the doctors. Public healthcare was severely disrupted yesterday, for more than 70% of junior doctors calling in sick in some instances, crippling healthcare delivery in some regions and forcing public health facilities across the island to commence emergency protocols. In the southern region, the regional director of the Southern Regional Health Authority, Michael Bent, said it is hoped that good sense will continue to prevail and the doctors will honor their commitment to resume normal activities.
Well, we are hoping that, as agreed as we agreed in the meeting today, that they will turn up to duty. So we just have to wait until see. I think they should be turning up to duty. It's about turning up to duties now. So we'll wait and see. But we are expecting that. We believe that they will honor whatever the agreement is. So we're expecting them to be back at work later today. And so once they are back at work, then we get back to normalcy.
That was Regional Director of the Southern Regional Health Authority, Michael Bent, speaking with our newsroom yesterday evening. Persons are being strongly urged to prioritize safety and follow essential and critical guidelines while navigating the busy downtown market district during the festive Yuletide season. Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of Area 4, Michael Phipps, reminded persons of the safety and operational measures being undertaken by the police. He encouraged persons to keep their mobile phone, cash, and other valuables out of sight whilst in public spaces. The acting commissioner also reminded individuals that if they withdraw large sums of cash from the bank or ABM, they should first secure the bulk of that cash before going shopping, as they may never know who is watching or following. He further urged shoppers to organize their spending cash before you start shopping to avoid displaying large sums of money in public places. Mr. Phipps further reminded persons not to leave laptops and other electronic devices on the seats of a car whilst it is unattended, and that where possible, persons are encouraged to walk with someone else, preferably in groups, three or more persons, so as not to be targeted by criminals. Some other tips given by the police include choosing carefully who you ask for directions when one is unfamiliar with the area. Be aware of your surroundings. Look confident, like you know where you're going, even if you don't know. And Mr. Phipps said persons should always take the route they know best, even if there might be shorter alternatives. The acting assistant commissioner also urged adults to closely monitor their children so they do not get lost. Also reminded business operators and owners to contact the police to escort them when moving large sums of cash. And Acting Commissioner Phipps says the JCF has initiated an action plan regarding policing services and will be providing security assurance and an overall safe atmosphere for citizens to go about their lawful business. This action plan commenced on November 18th and will run until January 6th, 2025. The 2024-2025 winter tourist season, which begins on December 15, promises to be very good for Jamaica, according to Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett. Speaking with JIS News, Minister Bartlett pointed out that the government has improved bookings and the airlift, with particularly out of the United States, where 70,000 more seats have been added over last year. The minister further informed that 45,000 additional seats will come out of South America. He pointed further that with direct flights now available from Lima, Peru to Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay via the LATAM Airlines, a strong response is expected from the South American market. Meanwhile, Mr. Bartlett said Jamaica continues to be a destination of choice for other markets, such as the European market and certainly the United Kingdom. He indicated that Jamaica is the number one Caribbean destination for tourism and out of the UK, as the islands clipped Barbados and with a strong performance, moving ahead strongly, even ahead of Canada with its very strong bookings for the season. And finally, in the local news, one Glock 19 pistol with a magazine containing 11 9mm cartridges was seized by the police in Ramble Nakalva in Hanover on Monday. Reports from the Hanover police are that about 9:50 a.m., a police team carried out an operation at the premises where a minor was searched and the firearm and ammunition found in his knapsack bag. He was taken into custody. His identity is being withheld pending further investigations. That's the local part of our sports, brought to you by J-Win Pharmacy. They're located over there in Spaldings in Clarendon. We move on now to give you some item of sports as they become available to us right here on NRP Radio. And now in sports football news, in the ISA Under 14 quarterfinal played recently, Manchester defeated McGrath High 2-1, Glenmuir flew past Monroe College 3-0, and the Clarendon College silenced Titchfield High 3-0. In the Under 16 competition, Monroe stopped St. Thomas 4-2, and Stets edged Cornwall College 2-1. Meanwhile, at 7 p.m. today, the draw for the 2025 CONCACAF Champions Cup will take place. Several teams will be on edge as this is done to see which teams they'll be going up against. NRP Sports will continue to watch this and report accordingly. Finally, the St. Elizabeth Technical Sports Complex in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, will host Saturday's staging of the Isa Oliver Shield between the Costa Cup champions Gavi Masio High, and Manning Cup winners Kingston College, organizers announced on Monday. The traditional playoff for the All Island High School champions is to be hosted by the Costa Cup champions this year, based on the alternate hosting rights rules of the competition. Gavi Masio won their third Da Costa Cup title on Saturday, coming from behind to beat McGraw High on penalty kicks at the National Stadium. A day earlier, Kingston College won their 17th Manning Cup title when they beat St. Catherine High 3-1 at the same venue. And finally, on cricket, South Australia dramatically beat Tasmanian Tigers by 2 runs off the final ball of the game to record the joint tightest win to Sheffield Shield history. Chasing an unlikely 429 to win, the Tigers needed 4 of the last ball, but Australia bowler Riley Meredith was run out, seemingly having forgotten that a draw was possible. He picked out deep cover and was looking to complete the second run that still would have resulted in the Tigers failing to win. They were all set at 400 for 5, needing 29 more from the final 27 balls, but dramatically lost 4 wickets in a 9-ball spell in the final 2 overs. It is the fourth time a Sheffield Shield game has been won by 2 runs, but the first since New South Wales edged out Western Australia in January 2003. The other occasions were when Western Australia beat Victoria in November 1998, and South Australia got the better of Western Australia in November 1999. Let's now give you the latest from the National Met Service, as they have provided that information for you. Let's do that, and do that in fine style for you right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. It's now 6:41 in the morning. This is the NRP Break of Day Newscast. And as we welcome you this morning, the National Met Service says that there's a significant feature of a ridge across the northern Caribbean, including Jamaica. The ridge is expected to remain across the region through to Wednesday morning. Thereafter, a prefrontal trough is expected to move into the vicinity of the island. In the 24-hour forecast this morning, isolated showers are expected across northern parishes, elsewhere mainly sunny. This afternoon, expect isolated showers across hilly areas and western parishes, otherwise partly cloudy, windy across northern parishes. Tonight, mainly fair. In the 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, Wednesday through to Friday, partly cloudy in the morning for Thursday morning, isolated afternoon showers mainly across southern parishes, otherwise partly cloudy. On Thursday and Friday, expect intermittent showers across northern parishes, otherwise partly cloudy during the daytime. Other current regional weather features: there's an area of low pressure across Panama, a ridge across the Gulf of Mexico. And in terms of maximum temperatures expected for Kingston and Montego Bay today, in Kingston, 32 degrees Celsius. In Montego Bay, it's just 30 degrees Celsius. That's the latest weather report and forecast right here on NRP Radio. And at 6:43, sorry, we are going to be heading now to giving you some additional information inside our newscast this morning. Of course, it's the weather that we've just completed. We're heading now to give you the international news, courtesy of the VOA.
I'm VOA's Richard Green with your worldwide news update. Syrian rebel commander Abu Mohammed al-Golani pledged Tuesday to release the names of senior officials from ousted President Bashar al-Assad's government who were, quote, involved in torturing the Syrian people. Golani said in a statement that rewards will be offered to those who provide information about anyone involved in what he called war crimes. The pledge came amid questions about Syria's future governance following Assad's departure. Syrian rebels said al-Golani met with outgoing Prime Minister Mohammed Ghazi Jalali for the first time Monday to coordinate a transfer of power. The fall of Damascus has raised concerns about what's next for U.S. troops based in the war-torn country who have been working with allies to keep Islamic State from resurging. VOA's Carla Babb has more from the Pentagon.
The U.S. military has about 900 troops in Syria to help Syrian Democratic Forces prevent Islamic State from resurging, with officials stating three primary interests now that the Assad regime has fallen. Here's Robert Wood, U.S. alternate representative to the UN. The Pentagon says communication with allies is key. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has spoken with his Turkish counterpart about the ongoing Syrian developments. CENTCOM Commander General Eric Kurilla is in the region. He has met with Jordanian allies in Amman to discuss Syria, and officials say he plans to speak with other regional allies in the coming days. Carla Babb, VOA News, the Pentagon.
VOA's podcast, The Issue, takes you beyond the headlines, diving into the stories shaping our world. This is VOA News. The fall of Assad's regime renews efforts to bring home American journalist Austin Tice, who disappeared in Syria 12 years ago. His family says they have received evidence that he is alive. With Liam Scott, Christina Casido-Smith has the story for VOA.
The former Marine and law student turned freelance journalist was taken captive in Syria in 2012. Beyond a video taken after his capture, little had been seen or heard of him since. But on Friday, the family had new information to share. The new information places Tice in a prison in Damascus. After speaking with media Friday, 17 members of the family and some aides walked to the White House in freezing temperatures to speak with officials. And on Sunday, President Joe Biden reiterated his commitment to bring the journalist home. Cristina Caicedo-Smith, VOA News.
Prosecutors in New York City have filed murder charges against Luigi Nicholas Mangione, the suspect in last week's shooting death of Brian Thompson, the chief executive officer of U.S. health insurer United Healthcare. AP correspondent Ben Thomas has more details.
The 26-year-old remains jailed in Pennsylvania, where he's charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm, forgery, and providing false ID to police after his arrest at a McDonald's in Altoona. Court documents indicate he was sitting looking at a laptop in the rear of the restaurant wearing a blue medical mask. Police say a customer noticed him and an employee called 911. Altoona police responded, and Officer Tyler Fry says when he and his partner asked the suspect to lower his mask,
he didn't even think twice about it. We knew that was our guy.
The criminal complaint notes they asked if he'd been to New York recently, at which point Mangione became quiet and started to shake. In his backpack, they found a black 3D printed pistol and 3D printed silencer. I'm Ben Thomas.
Thompson's murder unleashed a wave of frustration from Americans who are struggling with the rising cost of health insurance and medical care, while health insurance companies often deny coverage. Authorities say 6 people were arrested in the Central American nation of Guatemala and the U.S. border state of Texas Monday on human smuggling charges in connection with the 2021 crash of a semi-tractor trailer truck that killed more than 50 migrants. Authorities say the truck was packed with at least 160 migrants when it crashed into a support beam of a pedestrian bridge in Tuxtla Gutierrez, the capital of the southern state of Chiapas. 4 people were arrested in Guatemala, while 2 others were arrested in Texas. The arrests were announced on the 3-year anniversary of the accident. Guatemalan Interior Minister Francisco Jimenez said the defendants were part of a criminal structure called Los Quino. That wraps up this update, but the world and news never stop. I'm Richard Green, VOA News.
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest from the international scene, courtesy of the Voice of America. And with that, we wrap our newscast right here on NRP Radio. Join us again at 6:30 p.m. today and 6:30 a.m. tomorrow for the news package here on NRP Radio. My name is Leon Nash. The package of this morning came to you courtesy of J. Win Pharmacy. Let's hear from them one more time before we get out of here. J-Win Pharmacy, our sponsor for the newscast this morning, coming out of Spalding's in Clarendon.
J-Win Pharmacy Limited, Samford Plaza in Spalding, Clarendon, the leading pharmacy in the area that specializes in pharmaceuticals, general over-the-counter items and cosmetics. They stock various self-care items and household items. Contact them at 876-956-0930 or 876-371-6781. Here to provide just what you need.
All right, and it's just about what 6:49 right here on the station, and let's squeeze in a little bit from the GIS before we go to the program. The Let's let the word speak with the Reverend Paul Blair. So let's take you to the GIS and give you a brief of what some of their presentation this morning. Over now to the GIS.
I'm Jed. I'm Jeda Francis with the JRS Evening News for Monday, December 9. Coming up, Tourism Ministry projecting increased growth for winter tourist season. JCF's technological capacity strengthened by donation from the Republic of Korea and public health facilities operating under emergency protocols. The news in detail after the break.
The Portmore City Municipality, in partnership with JPS, presents the Portmore Christmas House Decorating Contest. Get rewarded for what you love. Decorate your house for a chance to win $50,000 in bill credit. Deadline for entries is Monday, December 16. Let's light up Portmore this Christmas and spread the holiday cheer together. Follow us on Instagram at Portmore City Municipality for more information.
Now the news. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is advising the public that health facilities island-wide have begun to operate under emergency protocols as a result of junior doctors calling in sick. This means although emergency rooms remain open, outpatient services and elective surgeries have been significantly scaled down or otherwise suspended. Primary care facilities have also been affected with a report of 16% doctor turnout in primary care in the Western Regional Health Authority and 28% in the Northeast Regional Health Authority. The Southern Regional Health Authority has reported a 36% turnout, while Kingston and St. Andrew has reported an 18% turnout and St. Thomas 66%, also in primary care. The ministry says every effort is being made to mitigate the impact of these actions on the health system by rescheduling appointments and elective procedures. The ministry is encouraging members of the public to contact a private physician for non-urgent medical advice and manage existing health conditions by taking prescribed medications and adhering to treatment plans. In life-threatening situations, citizens should visit the nearest emergency department. The Ministry of Tourism is projecting increased growth in the sector for the 2024-2025 winter tourist season, which begins on December 15. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says data indicates that some 70,000 more airline seats to Jamaica have been booked compared to the same period last year. Minister Bartlett adds that with direct flights now available from Lima, Peru to the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay via LATAM Airlines, he's optimistic that there will be increased airlift from South America.
And that flight connects to about 5 countries in South America. So we are very comfortable with the expansion of the South American market. The European market is performing, and certainly the UK, Jamaica is the number 1 Caribbean destination for tourism out of the UK now. We eclipsed Barbados and we're moving ahead strongly there.
Minister Bartlett notes that Canada has also shown very strong bookings for the season, demonstrating that Jamaica continues to be a destination of choice for other markets. The capacity of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF has been bolstered with a donation of 203 technology assets from the Republic of Korea. The items include 30 forensic camera kits, 62 laptops, and 111 tablets. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake says the donation marks a significant step in the JCF's ongoing journey of digital transformation. He notes that the forensic camera kits represent a pivotal improvement for crime scene investigators, as the tools will facilitate more precise evidence collection and higher quality crime scene documentation.
This transformative gift will greatly enhance our operational efficiency and investigative capabilities. This is vital for solving complex cases and strengthening the criminal justice process. These systems ultimately will replace our outdated manual processes, improving accuracy, accessibility, and efficiency.
Dr. Blake was speaking recently at the handover ceremony of the ICT equipment at the Office of the Police Commissioner. And State Minister in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Dr. Norman Dunn, has underscored the government's commitment to creating equal opportunities for persons with disabilities. Speaking at the recent Heart NSDA Trust Disabilities Awareness Conference in Kingston, Dr. Dunn emphasized that since June this year, 4 farmers with disabilities have been employed on farms in Canada. This, he said, represents a historic step in the government's thrust towards inclusiveness for persons with disabilities in the Overseas Employment Program.
Inclusion is not just about employment. It's about creating systems that makes everyday life more accessible. So with the support of UNICEF and JCPD, we're strengthening our social protection and health systems. We're also ensuring that our people have the skills to succeed. We have launched the I Am Able campaign, and for our youngest citizens, the Early Stimulation Program.
The Heart NSDA Trust's Disabilities Awareness Conference was held under the theme Empowering Ability, Breaking Barriers, Building Futures. That was JRS News. I'm Jada Francis.
It is very important that a building is not just structurally sound, but also safe for persons to occupy and exit in the event of an emergency. On today's program, we will be looking at how to make your building more secure. I'm Adjui James Sawyers. All buildings constructed across the island, whether they are residential or commercial, are governed by a national building code. The guiding principle of this code is to ensure that the properties are safe and secure for occupancy.
The aim of the code is to protect the occupants of the building and to ensure that if it's an emergency, the occupants can leave the building and leave the building safely.
Deputy Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade with responsibility for fire safety, prevention and investigation, Sean Martin. Registrar of the Architects Registration Board of Jamaica, David Cuthbert, says the focus areas are different for each type of development. This is based on occupancy, fire hazard risk levels, as well as goods or materials that are stored inside of the structure. The main focus for a residential building is evacuation.
With residential, in terms of the codes, usually the first thing you always try and focus on is about evacuation, making sure that persons can find their way out of the facilities safely and as quickly as possible. Because the focus is really about egress, you're going to find that you're going to have supplemental doors. You're going to make sure that we have, adequate walkways to get people out into safe areas.
For commercial edifices, fire suppression capabilities is a major concern.
With commercial facilities, because you're usually talking about higher density, you're usually talking about very different circumstances. Usually at that point you deal with fire suppression, which is why, as the code requires, when you deal with commercial buildings, you're going to see far more fire, escapes. You're going to find more fire signs up. You're going to also talk about extinguishers, making sure that you have strobe lighting, that there's more access to, emergency poles of that nature.
Deputy Fire Commissioner Martin recommends that a multifamily complex design should incorporate alternate entrances and exits, and he advises that an evacuation plan should be created and practiced by residential occupants. For commercial properties, a good rule of thumb is to have an evacuation plan and business continuity plan to ensure that in the event of an emergency, persons know exactly what to do and business operations will keep moving forward. Mr. Cuthbert advises that the necessary safety and security standards be incorporated from the design stage of the building process.
And those things, that when they become embedded in design, they really become an opportunity that we don't have to worry about potentially losing them.
An example is a fire exit staircase.
Instead of thinking about your stairs as just being a dedicated fire stairs, but maybe it's just your secondary stair that you can use on a regular basis.
Another example is the width of your doors.
Making sure that the widths of your doors are wide enough that they can actually handle in case of emergencies, that you're not just going for the simplest, opportunity.
If a building is already built without some or any of the safety essentials, creative, workable, and cost-effective solutions should be explored that meet the intentions of the building code.
The code provides a little bit of creativity and flexibility in that if your passive systems are inadequate, then you can compensate with active systems and vice versa.
All right, that's as much time we've got for you with the Jazz feature this morning. Standing by now for the latest from the archives of Reverend Paul Blair, Let the Word Speak. That's coming your way right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. Keep it locked right here on our radio platform, nrpmediaja.com. That's where you're going to be listening now as we shift from YouTube and Facebook Live. Thank you so much. God bless you. And we thank you so much for logging on to our